Have you ever watched someone you love take a simple walk and suddenly felt your heart skip a beat? Maybe it was your mom, dad, or a dear friend, someone who used to move with ease but now seems hesitant, slow, even a little unsure with each step. You might have thought, they're just being careful, or maybe it's just age catching up. But what if that little hesitation is actually a silent warning? What if those small, almost invisible changes in how they walk are signals that a dangerous fall could happen, one that could change everything in a moment? I want you to imagine for a second how fragile those moments really are. One misstep, one stumble, and suddenly, a trip to the hospital, weeks of recovery, maybe even loss of independence. It's scary because falls aren't just accidents, they're one of the biggest reasons seniors get hurt, lose their freedom, or worse. But here's the truth that many don't know, it doesn't have to be this way. Small changes in the way someone walks, simple tricks, can make a huge difference. They can turn fear into confidence and keep your loved ones safe on their feet longer than you might expect. In this video, I'm going to share 5 walking tricks, simple, easy to learn, and incredibly effective, that are already saving thousands of seniors from the heartache of dangerous falls. These aren't complicated exercises or expensive gadgets, these are practical steps you can start using right now. And trust me, one of these tips might surprise you, it's something most people overlook, but it's powerful enough to change everything. So if you have a senior in your life, whether it's a parent, grandparent, neighbor, or friend, drop a comment below saying I'm here. Let's create a community that cares, learns, and protects. And don't forget to subscribe to Seniorscare, where we bring you life-saving advice to keep your loved ones strong and steady. Now, let's dive into these 5 walking tricks that could make all the difference. Imagine your grandfather, someone who used to take confident, steady strides, now starting to shuffle his feet as he walks. At first, you might think he's just slowing down because of age or maybe feeling tired. But what's really happening is his body is trying to find a safer way to keep balance. When seniors take shorter steps, they're instinctively protecting themselves from overreaching and losing their footing. It's like their body's way of saying, let me be careful here. Now, here's the thing, shortening steps isn't about moving slower or being weak. In fact, it's a smart way to reduce the risk of tripping. When you take big strides, your body leans forward more, and that makes it easier to stumble or lose control, especially on uneven ground or slippery floors. But smaller, deliberate steps keep the center of gravity steady and close to the ground, making every step safer. A lot of people think that longer strides mean better walking, like it's healthier or more athletic. That might be true for younger people, but for seniors, it can actually backfire. Trying to take big steps when the muscles or balance aren't as strong can increase the chances of falls. So if you're encouraging someone older to walk, remind them it's okay, better yet, safer, to take shorter, controlled steps. This is especially important when walking outside on rough paths or inside on slippery tiles. So next time you're with a senior, watch their step length. If you notice shuffling or hesitation, gently suggest they focus on making their steps shorter but more purposeful. It's a simple change, but it can save a lot of trouble. And while step length is key, it's not the whole story, where the foot lands matters just as much. That's what we'll explore next. Now, let's talk about foot placement, which is just as important as how long your steps are. Picture this, a neighbor told me about her mother who started dragging her feet a bit when she walked. It wasn't just slow movement. It was almost like her feet were sticking to the floor, and she seemed unsteady, sometimes wobbling or losing balance. It worried her because it felt like her mother was more likely to trip or fall, especially on uneven surfaces. Here's where the heel-to-toe walking technique comes in. This means placing your foot down starting with the heel first, then rolling through to the toes before taking the next step. It might sound simple, but this kind of controlled foot placement helps your body move in a straight, steady line. When you walk this way, you're basically teaching your feet to follow a path that supports your balance better. Some people think the best way to avoid tripping is to lift their feet high with every step, like they're stepping over invisible hurdles. But that actually uses more energy and can throw off your balance because it's harder to control. Walking slow and placing your feet carefully from heel to toe is safer. It gives your body the chance to adjust to the ground beneath you and react if something feels off. If you're helping a senior, encourage them to practice walking slowly like this at home. Maybe during their daily walks, they can focus on feeling their heel touch the ground first, then rolling through to the toe. It sounds small, but over time it strengthens balance and reduces the risk of sudden trips. And here's the thing, walking safely isn't just about your feet. Your arms play a surprisingly big role in keeping you steady. Let's move on to how arm movement can help improve balance even more. Here's something many people don't realize, your arms are not just for carrying things or waving hello. They're actually key players in helping you stay balanced when you walk. Let me tell you about a senior friend of mine who always felt a little unsteady on her feet. She was so cautious that she kept her arms rigid at her sides or held tightly onto furniture and walls whenever she moved around. One day, a physical therapist suggested something simple but surprising: try swinging your arms gently as you walk. At first, she was hesitant. It felt strange to move her arms when she was so used to holding on or keeping them still. But as she started practicing relaxed arm swings, she noticed something amazing. Her balance improved, and walking felt more natural and less tiring. That's because when you swing your arms, they act like natural counterweights to your body's movements, helping to steady you and reduce swaying. Some people think that the safest thing to do is to keep their arms completely still or hold on to something for support all the time. But ironically, this can actually weaken your natural balance reactions. Your body is designed to use your arms to help keep you upright, so when they're locked down or constantly gripping onto objects, you lose that built-in stabilizer. So the advice here is to encourage gentle, relaxed arm swings when walking, whether it's indoors around the house or outside in safe environments. It doesn't have to be exaggerated, just natural movements that help your body stay centered. This simple habit can boost confidence and reduce the chances of a fall. Now that we've talked about how your arms help keep you steady, there's another crucial piece of the puzzle, where you focus your eyes while walking. Let's explore why looking ahead instead of down can make a big difference in staying balanced and safe. Here's something that might surprise you: where you look when you walk can make a huge difference in how steady you feel. I remember hearing about an elderly woman who kept stumbling. Not because her legs were weak, but because she was constantly looking down at the floor while walking. It seemed like she was trying to watch her feet carefully to avoid tripping, but ironically, this habit was actually making her less stable. When you keep your eyes down on your feet, you limit your brain's ability to see what's coming next. Your brain needs to anticipate obstacles, changes in the path, or uneven ground ahead to adjust your posture and balance in time. Looking forward helps your body prepare for what's coming, keeping your head up and spine aligned, which is essential for staying steady. Many people think it's safer to watch their feet closely, especially if they've had a fall before. It feels like you're being extra cautious, right? But this actually narrows your field of vision and slows down your reaction time because you're not seeing the bigger picture. Your body gets caught in a loop of reacting to tiny movements instead of moving smoothly and confidently. So, the best advice is to train yourself, or help your loved ones, keep their eyes forward, scanning the path ahead rather than staring at their shoes. Start slowly, maybe in familiar, safe spaces, and gently encourage looking a few steps ahead to catch any bumps, rugs, or small obstacles early. This simple shift in focus can build confidence and make walking feel much safer. And now, here's a trick that many overlook but can be incredibly effective: adjusting the way you position your feet to widen your base of support. It's a surprising tip, but it can make all the difference when it comes to balance. Let's talk about that next. Let me share a story about a senior man who often found himself tipping over or feeling off balance when making turns. It was frustrating and scary for him because even though he was careful, his body just didn't feel steady. One day, a physical therapist suggested he try something simple: widen his stance just a little bit. It wasn't about standing like a wrestler or anything extreme, just placing his feet a bit farther apart than usual. That small change made a world of difference. By widening his stance slightly, he gave his body a bigger base to support itself. Think of it like the difference between standing on one foot versus two. More surface area means more stability. When your feet are closer together, it's easier to lose balance, especially during turns or when shifting weight. But a wider stance helps keep your center of gravity steady, making falls less likely. Now, many seniors, and even younger folks, might worry that standing with feet farther apart looks awkward or makes them feel self-conscious. But the truth is, it's a simple, practical adjustment that can be life-saving. It's about comfort and safety, not style. You want to encourage a relaxed, natural stance that feels good, not forced or uncomfortable. So whether standing still or walking slowly, remind your loved ones to try placing their feet a bit wider apart. It's a small habit with big benefits. These 5 walking tricks, short steps, heel-to-toe placement, arm swings, looking forward, and widening the stance, might seem simple on their own, but together they create a powerful way to keep seniors steady, confident, and safe on their feet. Let me share a story about a senior man who often found himself tipping over or feeling off balance when making turns. It was frustrating and scary for him because even though he was careful, his body just didn't feel steady. One day, a physical therapist suggested he try something simple: widen his stance just a little bit. It wasn't about standing like a wrestler or anything extreme, just placing his feet a bit farther apart than usual. That small change made a world of difference. By widening his stance slightly, he gave his body a bigger base to support itself. Think of it like the difference between standing on one foot versus two. More surface area means more stability. When your feet are closer together, it's easier to lose balance, especially during turns or when shifting weight. But a wider stance helps keep your center of gravity steady, making falls less likely. Now, many seniors, and even younger folks, might worry that standing with feet farther apart looks awkward or makes them feel self-conscious. But the truth is, it's a simple, practical adjustment that can be life-saving. It's about comfort and safety, not style. You want to encourage a relaxed, natural stance that feels good, not forced or uncomfortable. So whether standing still or walking slowly, remind your loved ones to try placing their feet a bit wider apart. It's a small habit with big benefits. These 5 walking tricks: short steps, heel-to-toe placement, arm swings, looking forward, and widening the stance, might seem simple on their own, but together they create a powerful way to keep seniors steady, confident, and safe on their feet. It's really hard watching someone you care about struggle just to stay steady on their feet. You see that hesitation, the slight wobble, and it fills you with worry. The fear of falling isn't just about the physical injury. It can quietly take away a person's confidence and independence. It can keep seniors indoors, away from friends, family, and the activities they love. That isolation weighs heavily, not just on them, but on everyone who cares for them. It's a heavy burden, full of what-ifs and if-onlys. But here's where the story can change. Knowledge is power. These walking tricks we've talked about aren't just exercises or tips, they're tools that can transform fear into confidence. When seniors learn to walk with intention, with balance and awareness, they reclaim control over their bodies and their lives. It's about more than just preventing falls, it's about restoring a sense of freedom. If you've noticed any of these balance struggles in your loved ones, don't wait. Start practicing these simple walking techniques together today. It might feel small or slow at first, but every step toward safer movement is a step toward preventing serious injury. Even tiny changes can ripple into huge improvements over time, and can literally save lives. Remember this: every careful, steady step your loved one takes is a step toward freedom, dignity, and joy. It's a step that says, I'm still here. I'm still strong. I'm still living life on my own terms. And that hope, that possibility, is worth everything. To quickly recap everything we've covered today, remember to take short, deliberate steps instead of long strides. Practice walking heel-to-toe to keep your balance steady. Let your arms swing gently to help stabilize your body. Keep your eyes focused forward so your brain can anticipate what's ahead. and widen your stance just a little to create a stronger, more stable base. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you tried any of these walking tricks yourself? Or maybe you've seen a loved one use one of these techniques with success. Share your stories and experiences down in the comments below. Your insight could be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to Seniorscare. We're here to bring you more simple, practical tips that protect and empower seniors every single day. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.